Rachel Maddow went to Dick Cheney's funeral yesterday. We can do this, people. It's Thanksgiving. Do yourself a favor, get over yourself, and go have it with your family.
The far left has now shifted its relentless criticism to Thanksgiving, following previous attacks on Halloween and Father's Day. Maher, with his trademark wit and no-holds-barred style, skewers this obsession, exposing the absurdity of politicizing simple, joyful traditions. Holidays like Thanksgiving are meant to bring people together, to celebrate gratitude and connection, not become battlegrounds for ideology. There's a lot to unpack in this discussion, so let's dive deeper into the topic.
Happy Thanksgiving. I can't believe that even that now is a political issue. It is a real shame what's happened to this holiday, which used to be all about the good F's: food, friends, family, football, fun. And now it's you. You're not even invited because you voted for the wrong person. I'm so tired of liberals ghosting half this country. Conservatives do it too, but not nearly as much. Look, whoever's doing it, it's got to stop, because we're at a point now where politics has broken up more families than letting your wife see your phone.
You may have seen the clip, but the underlying lesson runs deeper. Maher highlights how the far left's constant attacks on Thanksgiving threaten a holiday meant to unite. According to him, some would only consider celebrating if everyone at the table shares their ideology, turning gratitude into a political test. He exposes the absurdity of this mindset, reminding us that traditions like Thanksgiving are about family, connection, and simple joy. They should not be hijacked to enforce ideological conformity or police opinions at the dinner table, but rather celebrated for their ability to bring people together.
Now, on the liberal side, there's two camps now. The we need to keep talking to people wing and the go no contact wing. That's what they call it now, go no contact. This belief that Trump voters, even if it's your own parents, are too deplorable for human contact and must be cut off. You know, like Scientologists do to suppressive people. A former speechwriter for Obama named David Litt wrote an op-ed this year called, "Is it time to stop snubbing your right-wing family?" where he admitted he'd had a change of heart and that was the wrong approach. So of course then the woke wing tried to banish him for breaking ranks on their policy of hating people who don't agree with you on everything, because what fun is life if you're not cutting somebody off?
The far left frequently finds fault in traditions, turning celebrations into ideological battlegrounds. Father's Day was criticized as patriarchal, Halloween scrutinized for potentially offensive costumes, and now Thanksgiving faces attacks for compelling people to sit with differing viewpoints. Some argue there's nothing to be thankful for, dismissing a holiday built around gratitude, family, and togetherness. This relentless critique transforms moments meant to unite into sources of division. Simple joys like shared meals and reflection are politicized, leaving holidays vulnerable to ideological criticism rather than communal celebration. It's a stark reminder that traditions designed to foster connection and happiness are increasingly reframed as arenas for political conflict.
Molly McNerney, Jimmy Kimmel's wife and head writer, went public on this topic recently, so I feel it's fair to comment respectfully in public. She says she's lost relationships with relatives because she wrote them an email before the election with 10 reasons why they shouldn't vote for Trump, and some still didn't obey. So, you know, 10 reasons. I could think of 100. But I would never present it to someone as an ultimatum. Ultimatums don't make people rethink their politics. They make them rethink you.
Urging people to skip Thanksgiving just because of disagreement or unhappiness reflects more about the person making that choice than the holiday itself. Thanksgiving is meant for gratitude, reflection, and connection, yet some allow ideology to overshadow basic human decency. Avoiding a shared meal due to political differences exposes bitterness rather than virtue. Maher's point is clear. Gratitude should be unconditional, and turning Thanksgiving into a political litmus test diminishes the essence of the holiday. Traditions that bring families together should be celebrated for what they are, opportunities to connect, appreciate, and reflect, not used as a platform for ideological posturing.
Somewhere along the way, my values became code for I'm the only one with a moral compass. You know what would have been a better exercise? Write a top 10 list to yourself where you try to imagine 10 reasons why 77 million Americans didn't want to trust you with taking power. And I say that as someone who votes Democratic. As I like to remind my very pure friends, we voted for the same person. You're just why she lost.
During his presidency, Trump had nearly half of America passionately supporting him, yet no election ever achieves unanimous approval. Political diversity is inevitable, and respecting differing opinions is crucial for democracy to function. Maher emphasizes that healthy debate and thoughtful engagement with opposing viewpoints are what keep political discourse meaningful. Dismissing or vilifying others for their choices only widens divides, whereas acknowledging the variety of perspectives fosters understanding. Instead of demanding ideological conformity, citizens should practice listening, discussing, and considering differing positions. Democracy thrives when multiple voices coexist, debates are civil, and engagement is based on dialogue rather than judgment or exclusion.
Do you really not get it at this point? Everything with him is done through personal relationships. He's a people guy. Trust me, he's not at home at night poring over the briefing books. This is government by people is saying. If anything, we need more people like me having dinner with him. You complain he's surrounded by ass-kissers, but your strategy is to make sure no one but ass-kissers are around him? You are not serious people.
The main reason so many left-leaning critics seem unhappy and ungrateful this Thanksgiving is simple. Trump is in power. His presence in the White House triggers strong reactions, prompting some to respond with exaggerated criticism and relentless attacks. Instead of addressing political disappointment constructively, they turn him into a caricature, mocking and amplifying his flaws as though he embodies every problem in the world. Many critics know surprisingly little about his policies, actions, or intentions, yet their outrage is loud and reactive. Instead of separating personal feelings from national traditions, they allow resentment to spoil a holiday built on gratitude, family, and reflection. Rather than pausing to appreciate what they have or coexist peacefully for a day, bitterness takes precedence. Maher highlights that this selective outrage reveals far more about the mindset of the critics than about Trump himself. Thanksgiving is meant for connection and reflection, not for indulging in political grievances.
Rachel Maddow went to Dick Cheney's funeral yesterday. We can do this, people. It's Thanksgiving. Do yourself a favor, get over yourself, and go have it with your family.
Thanksgiving is a time to discuss differences in a calm, respectful environment, and family gatherings are an ideal setting for this. Disagreement, debate, and even light clashes can coexist with shared meals and appreciation for one another. It's far better to engage thoughtfully than to cut family off simply for differing political beliefs. Refusing to participate because of an election or candidate demonstrates emotional reaction rather than principle. Thanksgiving is bigger than politics, a moment to pause, reconnect, and focus on what unites us. Mature individuals can listen to perspectives they disagree with while still finding reasons to be grateful. Walking away over politics doesn't make a bold statement. It highlights how easily frustration can override family, tradition, and gratitude. Maher emphasizes that political tension should never prevent people from engaging with loved ones or celebrating shared rituals. By showing up and maintaining civility, we honor the spirit of Thanksgiving, strengthen bonds, and model maturity. The holiday is an opportunity to balance conviction with connection, demonstrating that disagreements don't need to fragment families, but can exist alongside gratitude, reflection, and togetherness.
Don't be a hypocrite and defend attacks on speech from the left, because you either get the concept or you don't. And sadly, a lot of people don't anymore. Yes, mostly the young who were never taught it by their derelict educational system. But also Lisa Cook. She's the Fed board member Trump is trying to fire for bullshit reasons, and they are bullshit. But when she tried to get another professor fired because he once, according to one student, was less than rapturous about Martin Luther King Day, no, she should know better. She said free speech should have its limits. Yes, it should, and does. And this comes nowhere close to them.
The problem goes far beyond holidays. The left has increasingly shown hostility toward free speech. Express an opinion that doesn't perfectly align with their worldview, and they don't just disagree, they mobilize. Cancel culture, labeling, and public shaming have created an environment where speaking freely feels risky. Online, critics dig into your past, blast you publicly, and pressure institutions to act. This even spills into workplaces, where online outrage forces employers to respond, turning disagreement into reputational damage. Some take it further, urging friends or even spouses to sever ties. This isn't tolerance or progress, it's ideological intimidation masquerading as moral superiority. Instead of fostering diverse thought, outrage is weaponized to silence anyone who steps out of line. The result is a society where people are afraid to speak, question, or think independently. Maher points out that this culture of fear is escalating, but it also shouldn't mirror extremes seen in places like the UK, where people can be arrested for online posts. Freedom of expression must remain protected, or the ability to exchange ideas, challenge assumptions, and coexist peacefully becomes impossible. Maintaining open dialogue is crucial to a healthy society.
But it also can't become what the UK is now. A place where you get arrested for tweets. Something that happens 12,000 times a year now in Britain. Last week, the Irish sitcom writer Graham Linehan, who's won an Emmy and 5 BAFTA awards, got off a plane at Heathrow and got arrested by 5 British cops. Not because he was selling drones to the Houthis, just because he's a crank who spends way too much time online ranting about gender ideology, which is an odd obsession for a comedian from across the pond, because if men weren't allowed to dress as women, British comedy wouldn't exist.
Some argue that America could have faced challenges similar to the UK if the DNC had maintained control. Observers point to the UK's current climate, where people are sometimes arrested for online posts, jokes, or comments. Critics warn that had Democrats remained in power, speech regulations could have intensified, putting citizens at risk for expressing unpopular opinions outside the approved narrative. While Trump has publicly clashed with certain media outlets, it's often overlooked that many of those outlets initiated attacks first. They labeled him, twisted stories, and coordinated smear campaigns targeting not just policies, but his presidency as a whole. Trump's pushback was a counterpunch, not an assault on free speech. The real danger lies in a political movement eager to punish citizens for independent thought. Unlike a president defending himself against biased coverage, this approach threatens the freedom of expression itself. When a political faction seeks to regulate opinions rather than engage with them, dissent becomes risky. This creates a culture of fear where disagreement is penalized, and citizens are discouraged from questioning authority or sharing perspectives. Free speech is undermined not by disagreement, but by an overzealous push to enforce ideological conformity.
But in the words of that great Brit, Ricky Gervais, if you don't believe in a person's right to say things that you might find grossly offensive, then you don't believe in freedom of speech. You shouldn't have to eat your words at the airport. The chicken Alfredo on the flight was bad enough. So, Linehan may be crude, but there's plenty of non-crazy people, liberal people, who think the left has gone a little mad with trans issues. Some have expressed that opinion with literary sophistication, like J.K. Rowling. Some by getting big laughs, like Dave Chappelle. And some are downright ugly about it, like Linehan. But ugly is the price of a freedom so great as speech.
Getting offended is part of living in a free society. Embracing freedom of speech means accepting that people will say things you dislike, disagree with, or even find irritating. That is both the price and the privilege of open expression. While freedom of speech has limitations, it doesn't protect threats, incitement, or targeted harassment. It does protect differing political views, uncomfortable opinions, and perspectives that challenge our own. What it does not include is the modern habit of canceling people simply for thinking differently. Disagreeing with someone is normal. Demanding that their livelihood, reputation, or relationships be destroyed because of a difference of opinion is not. That isn't accountability, it's authoritarianism disguised as moral purity. A healthy society debates ideas rather than destroying individuals, allowing room for nuance, complexity, and disagreement. Cancel culture treats every opposing view as a personal attack and justifies social exile for every political difference. Freedom of speech means defending even the expression we dislike as fiercely as the expression we agree with. Without that balance, freedom becomes silence enforced by fear. Holidays, family gatherings, and political debates should not become battlegrounds demanding absolute conformity. Respecting differing opinions, protecting open expression, and refusing to cancel those who disagree are the foundations of a healthy democracy. Thanksgiving reminds us that gratitude, connection, and dialogue matter far more than outrage. Freedom survives only when it is defended collectively. These principles underscore the value of civil discourse, coexistence, and mutual respect in a society that claims to be free.